Guys, we were discussing the doctrine of lifting of corporate veil, or the doctrine of piercing the corporate veil, or cracking open the corporate shell. And on this doctrine, we have discussed that this doctrine can be applied either to there are some grounds recognized by the judiciary, so on the judicially recognized ground or the statutory ground. Then on the judicially recognized ground also, we were discussed that for the determination of the character, the court can disregard the company's separate personality, but there must be some public fear that disregard of the company's separate personality must be with the object of providing the justice. Okay, and so Daimler versus Continental Tire and Rubber Great Britain Company Limited case, House of Lord has clarified that why they are disregarding company separate personality. Then, the People's Pleasure Park versus Realder, there also it was contended, it was argued for application of doctrine of lifting of corporate veil, but court rejected because there was no such public fear. The justice did not require that. The second ground we were discussing was the prevention of fraud or improper conduct. When the company is formed for doing an improper conduct or for avoiding the legal obligation. And here the first case we discuss is Guilford Motor Company versus Horn, where the Horn was the managing director and he has certain liability because he entered into the contract with the company and he was not supposed to solicit the customers of the company even after he left, even after his resignation. And just to avoid, just to circumvent this obligation that he, or you can say that arises because of his contract, he formed a company and where he doing the same thing that he could not do in his personal capacity. Then the another case, John versus Lipman, also we have discussed where Mr. Lipman agreed to sell a certain piece of immovable property to the John, and later on he changed his mind, and Lipman, transferred his property to a company. On the similar line, there is this third case. It is from our Honorable Supreme Court, and the case history is very large. The facts of the cases or the controversy arises from 1973, and this case was of the 2000. The name of this case is Subra Mukherjee versus Bharat Cooking Coal Limited, 2003 SCC 312. Many times I have told you that in a case name there are two parts. One is the name of the parties and another is the citation. The name of the parties A versus B because we have the adversarial system. Okay, only when the case is as an advisory opinion where you will not find two names versus A versus B, but some name and then the word in re. Okay, here the Subra Mukherjee, who finally went to the in the appeal to the Supreme Court versus Bharat Cooking Coal Limited, and the citation of the case is that it was published. This is not the date on the judgment came. This is the date of the publication or the citation is a particular place where you can find this case. So SCC is Supreme Court cases, and on the Supreme Court Cases Journal 2000 volume, in the 2000 year journal, on the page number 312, you can find this judgment. Now see, see the facts of the case. As many times I have told you that in a case, you have to, find out five things, or you have to understand that case from the five different perspective. The first thing is, the facts of the case. You should remember, you should read only those relevant things that are necessary for the determination of the issue, facts in issue, for the determination of the facts in issue, or for the decision of the case, for deciding the case. Other unnecessary things, even you can forget, you can remove. Okay. The second is the case history, because our Supreme Court have the limited power of the jurisdiction. Either it has the the original jurisdiction when the dispute is between two states, or center and the state, or at one side state and center, on another side one state or two states, by any permutation combination. Or it may be through the writ jurisdiction, article 32. It may be through the civil appeal, it may be in the criminal appeal, and other is it may be advisory jurisdiction under article 143, or it may be special leave petition SL2. Now see and the third thing is then the facts in issue. Facts in issue means the real fact in the controversy, or the controversial facts. Okay, when you will read CPC, Civil Procedure Code, you will even able to correlate it more correctly. See, in the civil cases, one has to file the plaint, and the person who filed the plaint is known as the plaintiff. That means he filed the suit. And then the court will summon to the other person against whom the case is filed, to file the written statement, WS. And suppose in the plaint it is written that my name is Sham Sundar, I lives there, I have married to this particular woman on this particular date, or फिर controversy arise. Suppose it is a family dispute, or marriage dispute. So that this lady when give the reply will also say that the first para is correct, second para is correct. वहाँ तो कोई controversy नहीं. And then the facts in issue is that controversial fact where the plaintiff contend in one way and the defendant contend in the another way. So that is fact in issue, or the controversial fact. Okay, that is the third thing. Fourth is the arguments from both the parties. Arguments from in civil case from the plaintiff, or in the defendant. In the writ petition from the petitioner, and on the other side the authority or the state. And the fifth one is the decision of the case. Okay, many times I have told you. So see here, the facts of this case is that this case is from the era when the government was doing all the nationalizing activity. And the bank nationalization case we have discussed, RC Cooper versus Union of India. Here the government saw that in our India the coal mines are managed. And even if you remember that you know the movie in which Mr. Manoj Vajpayee was also play the role. So the coal mines is you know managed by the private companies, different private companies, and government want to nationalize this. Okay, so government devise a scheme that government will pass a legislation in the similar fashion as it did in the bank nationalization case. And by that legislation, certain coal mines companies will, as a company or as a sole proprietorships, has to be find out, and their rights, title and interest will be transferred to the government. And then the government will form a company, because government does not have a specific department with respect to this. So government will form its company in which it has the majority of shareholder. The government company is the company where half of the half or more than half of the shares are of the government, state government or the central government. The definition is given that we will discuss in the next topic. So government has to form a company, and then all these things that the government has acquired through this legislation will transfer to this company, and this government company then manage or then will do the coal mining activity. Okay, so the Coal Mine Nationalization Act was passed by the government, Coal Mines Nationalization Act 1973, and this act had to come into the force on the 1st of May 1973. In this act, there was a schedule attached to this act, and in the schedule, there were the name or the list of the various or the different the companies, different firm, etc. In that list, at one place, serial number 133, even this fact is also not relevant, you can forget it. At 133, there was the name of the company, MS Nichitpur Coal Company Private Limited. MS Nichitpur Coal Company Private Limited was a registered company under the Indian Companies Act. When they heard about this type of the legislation, so before this act come into the force, they have transferred or they have devised a mechanism that they will transfer the property, all this property or interest or title of this company, Miss Nichitpur, because after the coming into the force of Coal Mines Nationalization Act, whole property will vest into the government. So before that, they devise a mechanism by which the wives of the director formed a company. Okay, and the Miss Nichitpur Coal Company Private Limited property has been transferred to this newly formed company. Okay, just to circumvent, just to avoid from the effect of the Coal Mines Nationalization Act. Now, what happened that after this legislation, the government of India has formed a company, Bharat Cooking Coal Limited, BCCL, and whatever things has been vested by this legislation, government has transferred to BCCL. Okay. Now the BCCL has acquired all the properties that are in the list of that act, and then they even approached to the Miss Nichitpur that hand over this property or title that has been vested to the government by this act and transferred to us. The company has not vacated the position, its possession, the this newly formed company. Okay, and the Subra Mukherjee, who was the wife of the director and the the member of the newly formed company, they said that no, our name was not in that list, and so our property has not been vested in the government, and government transferred only those properties that vested by the Coal Mines Nationalization Act 1973 to the BCCL, Bharat Cooking Coal Limited. अब BCCL वो सिर खुजाने लगा how to deal with that property, and so the BCCL, they initiated the proceeding for eviction of the property by this newly formed company under the Act Eviction of Public Property Act 1971. Okay. Now, the newly formed company, along with Subra Mukherjee, they, objected this eviction that it is not the public property. The argument from the BCCL is that this property was acquired by the government by the Coal Mines Nationalization Act and has been transferred to the BCCL. The argument from the this from this newly formed company on behalf of the company through the Subra Mukherjee that no, this is the transfer made, and so the property had not belonged to the Miss Nichitpur Coal Company Limited, rather to this newly formed company. Okay. Now the court has to, decide this thing, that whether property got vested in the government or not, and for that they has to decide the legality of the transaction between Miss Nichitpur and the newly formed company, whose member are the wives of the directors of the Miss Nichitpur. Okay. Now these are the facts. See the case history. The case, it's such a long case history. When the BCCL has not got the possession of the property, they, as I said, that they filed the suit for eviction under the Eviction of Public Property Act 1971. So suit was filed under that. Even the suit was filed under the section 34 of the Special Relief Act at the trial court, and appellant got the title as the sale was the bogus. Court said that no, there was no sale. It's the sale was the bogus, because this sale was with avoid the effect of the Coal Mines Nationalization Act. And moreover, if we see the facts of this case, these members of the new company, they wives of those director did not have the independent income. The payment it has been made, that is what, that was also not clear from the receipt. The other fact is that this newly formed company, where the wives of the directors were member, does not have any other business other than this mines. Okay. And in the light of these facts, the court has disregarded the separate personality of newly formed company, and said that it was just same, it was the bogus company, and these were only the family members want to do. And seeing the economic reality, or the factual reality behind the facade, it was declared that the sale was bogus. Okay. Then this was decided in 1977. Then it, the Subra Mukherjee, on behalf of this newly formed company, aggrieved by this order, approached to the appeal in the district court. The district court, judge allowed the appeal and set aside the order of the trial court. Then the BCCL, the Bharat Cooking Company, went into the second appeal to the High Court. High Court dismissed the appeal. When the High Court dismissed the appeal, that means the judgment of the district court was as stand. Okay. Then the BCCL approached to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ordered for setting aside the impugned judgment and decree, and remitted the High Court to decide the 2 point. Okay. Remitted back to the High Court for decision of the 2 point. One, the High Court, and the High Court held that the transaction was bogus on the issue that whether company was an independent personality in light of the section 9, as we see as per our section Companies Act 2013, or is the company is a separate personality, or the transaction was proper. Because if we held that company is a separate legal personality, then it held to be proper. But if that is not, then it cannot be. Okay. And then a High Court also decided, when it is remitted back from the Supreme Court to the High Court, that it was bogus. On that, again the Subra Mukherjee went into the appeal before the Supreme Court. So this is the long history of the case. And finally, the Supreme Court decided in 2000. And that's why the name of this case was Subra Mukherjee versus BCCL. Because when the Supreme Court remitted the case back to the High Court decided in favor of the BCCL against the Subra Mukherjee or that newly formed company. And so Subra Mukherjee went into the appeal. So it was Subra Mukherjee versus BCCL. Now the controversy, or the real facts in issue is whether the company was a separate legal entity, or by application of the doctrine of the lifting of corporate veil, we can held that company was formed only to do the improper conduct, only to circumvent or avoid the effect of the Coal Mines Nationalization Act, that was for the greater justice, with the object of providing, or for the nationalization, for the greater benefit of the people. In that light, Supreme Court is deciding this thing. Maybe if those compelling facts, those circumstances would not be there, company had, or the court had decided in another way also. So those things, those facts are important. And in light of the facts that the whole Coal Mines Nationalization Act was passed for greater public benefit, so that our natural resources, which misused earlier by the private entities, now has to be with the government company, and that benefit would be earned by the government company, and that benefit then disseminate, or come back directly to the people. So in that light, the Supreme Court has to decide on the facts of this case. The arguments from the Subra Mukherjee is that the transaction was valid because it was between two legal person, Nichitpur and the newly formed company, and it is immaterial. It is immaterial, and that is true also. We have discussed section 3, we have discussed section 9 of the Companies Act 2013. Maybe the same person here, maybe the same person here, two-person can form one private company, same two-person can form another private company, and these two private company where the even the members are the same, are the legal person in the eyes of law by virtue of section 9. And these two legal person can do any transaction, any legal transaction, it can be done. Okay, but this is when we are saying that there is section 9, that the company have a separate legal personality. The court said that in light of the greater justice, in light of the purpose for which this company was formed is to defeat the effect of the Coal Mine Nationalization Act, and this newly formed company was not independent company for doing any business. Yes, section 3, if we say from the section 3 of the 2013, section 3 enables the persons to form the company for doing any lawful business. Okay, but if the company is formed not for that but with the intention to avoid the effect of any law, in that case the court can disregard the personality. And when the court disregarded the personality, remove this thing, that this was the Nichitpur, this was the newly formed company, so यहाँ भी दो डायरेक्टर है, इधर इनकी वाइफ है और इन बीच के कुछ इस तरह से ट्रांजेक्शन हुआ, जस्ट अवॉइड दिस थिंग. Okay, and so the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court held that a plant was the transaction of the plant was sham, collusive, without any consideration, and was brought into the existence to avoid the effect of the vesting of shoot property under the Coal Mines Nationalization Act 1973. Okay, so this is the decision, and reasoning is, as I have told, that because this newly formed company does not have any other business only for other than this acquisition of this property who earlier held by the Miss Nichitpur Coal Private Limited, and justice required that, because this was only to avoid the effect of the this welfare legislation of vesting of shoot property under the Act of 1973. So I think you have got what are the facts, what are the case history, what was the fact in issue, what is the arguments from the both the sides, and both sides are even argued, correctly also. Okay, from BCCL that it is a same, this company does not have separate business, it is only for avoiding the separate the effect of this legislation. The argument from the Subra Mukherjee was also correct that these are the two companies, two separate legal personality. Companies Act, give this status, etc. And then the decision of the court. Okay. So, guys, have you got this case? Have you understood this case? Yes. Any question that? Yes, Mr. Abhishek.
हाँ सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन था इसमें सर,
Mhm.
जो अपेलेंट है इसमें सर, अपेलेंट में शुभ्रा मुखर्जी का नाम दिया हुआ है सर। कंपनी भी तो सर जो न्यूली फॉर्म थी वो भी तो सर स्यू कर सकती थी या अपील कर सकती थी।
वो उसमें एक्चुअली सुब्रा मुखर्जी के साथ में वो भी होगी, बट वो एक पार्टी होगी इसलिए रखा होगा।
हाँ सर, दूसरा सवाल ये था सर, सर जब
हम्म।
ये कोल नेशनलाइजेशन एक्ट जारी हुआ था तो उसमें जो निजितपुर का नाम था वो उसमें था कोल, उस एक्ट में कि
ओके।
ये जो है कि ये गवर्नमेंट के पास जाएगी। सर अगर उसमें
हम्म।
ये नहीं लिखा है कि जो आगे कोई कंपनी बनेगी जो कोल में डील करेगी वो भी मतलब भारत सरकार के अंतर्गत आ जाएगी, सर ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं था ना उसमें।
नहीं नहीं, एक्चुअली गवर्नमेंट फर्स्ट मेड द सर्वे, find out the various companies, and then they put the list. But this person was from that region, तो उनको पहले ही कहीं से पता चल गया कि आपकी कंपनी का नाम भी वहाँ पे आ रहा है और ये ट्रांसफ़र हो जाएगी। तो वो अब चीज़ें तो लॉ तो इफेक्ट आने में थोड़ा टाइम लेता है ना, तो अंदर की सीक्रेट बात आपको पहले पता चल जाए तो उसी से पहले उन्होंने ट्रांसफ़र कर दिया झूठ मूठ की कंपनी बना के। सो
हाँ
दिस
हाँ
थिंग
सर, वो
हैपेंड।
तो सर वो तो लॉ उन्होंने सर्कमवेंट किया है, लेकिन सर अगर मान लीजिए कि गवर्नमेंट का जो एक्ट बना है और उसमें
No,
जो
that
उन्होंने।
was only, government cannot, this act was not there, and even government cannot make this type of the legislation, no? कि even in the future है वो भी ऐसा होगा. This was only for, the list was there in that list,
जी सर, मेरा ये कहने मतलब कि
that was in
स्पेसिफिक
the schedule.
स्पेसिफिक कंपनीज थी।
Specific, only specific.
हाँ, तो सर जब ये नई कंपनी फिर फॉर्म हुई तो फिर गवर्नमेंट को मतलब वो तो फिर उसमें है नहीं ना उनकी लिस्ट में वो।
That's why this question is there. That's why the question. That's what the argument from the Subra Mukherjee. That's what the argument from the new company, that this thing is ours and we have formed a company. This is the separate company other than the Nishijpur. And that's why there is the applicability of the doctrine of lifting of corporate veil. नहीं तो जरूरत ही क्या पड़ती, अगर निश्चित पूरी कंपनी होती तो वो तो प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांसफर ही हो गई थी। डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ लिफ्टिंग ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट वेल की जरूरत क्या पड़ती, ये तो
बिल्कुल
जरूरत
सर।
तभी पड़ी ना। नहीं तो निश्चितपुर की तो आ ही रही थी, उसमें क्या था, उसको भी पता था ये बात होनी है। आर यू
हम्म।
गेटिंग अभिषेक?
हाँ
तो
सर, हाँ
दैट्स
तभी
व्हाई,
सरकम
यस।
हाँ तभी सर्कमवेंट करने के लिए उसने
इसीलिए,
नई कंपनी फॉर्म कर दी।
हाँ, डायरेक्टली आप ये भी नहीं कह सकते बिकॉज ए न्यू कंपनी इज फॉर्म, हु आर द मेंबर्स, दैट इज इररिलेवेंट। सेक्शन 3 इनेबल्स, सेक्शन 3 ऑफ द कंपनीज एक्ट एंड अर्लियर जो भी लेजिस्लेशन होगा उसमें भी सेम प्रोविजन था, so that enables to form the company. It was the legal transaction from one company to the another company, that means one legal person to the another legal person. प्रॉब्लम क्या है भाई, जब लॉ आया तब तक तो वो प्रॉपर्टी थी ही नहीं निश्चितपुर की, तो कंट्रोवर्सी इज दिस। ओके, so that's the case, and the court finally disregarded this thing and say that this whole transaction is bogus. And so means the court using this type of the doctrine to defeating the effect of the statutory provisions. And so this must be very careful. This must be very judicious. This must be with the caution and in the situation where justice demand, where the sole purpose of the company you are able to prove that it is for avoiding the welfare legislation, it is for circumventing that thing. Okay, have you got, guys?
जी सर, थैंक यू सर।
Okay, now the third ground or the next ground is the tax evasion. See, uh, the government, the company or the sole proprietorship or other business entities on the income, and on the income they also come under the income tax. Other means like Hindu undivided family firm, etc., etc. The definition of the person under the income tax is very wide. There, the traditional definition or the juristic definition, is not applied, because the income tax act has been defined the word person, and with the objective, because the purpose of the income tax is to collect more and more tax so that the state got will get the more revenue. So उन्होंने पर्सन की डेफिनेशन ही ऐसी की हुई है कि एनी हिंदू अनडिवाइडेड फैमिली, natural person, artificial person, body of person, whether corporated or in, whether incorporated or not incorporated. Okay, and so even the firm etc that not strictly person also fall under the word person, because the very essence of the income tax act is to apply the income tax act to, or to widen its scope to as many as possible institutions, or to the as many as the individual or the group of the person, so that the scope of the income tax act can be broadened. Okay, वहाँ पे income का भी है. It's not saying about legal income. Whatever be your income is covered under the income tax act. So there are these two different things. Now what various companies do, or sometimes the persons form the company only for tax evasion, only for tax की चोरी के लिए. So it is true that from the juristic point of view, the company is a legal personality entitled distinct from its member, and the company is capable of enjoying rights and being subjected to the duties which are not the same as those enjoyed or borne by the members. So the rights and duties of the company may be different from the rights and duties of the members of its. Okay, but in certain exceptional cases, the court is entitled to lift the corporate veil and to pay regard to the economic reality. Economic reality means who are the actual person getting benefit by these things. So giving regard to the economic reality behind the legal facade. Okay, for example, the court has power to disregard the corporate entity if it is used for the tax evasion or to circumvent the tax obligation. So the third ground, the second ground was improper conduct or fraud, or means improper conduct that you are not able to do by directly, but through the company, through the formation of the company, you can do. Okay, here the third ground is limited only for the tax evasions, because the tax evasion in itself is injury to the public, it is injury to the state, it is harm to the state. So there is no need to say or justify that for the tax evasion, if this particular company is formed only for tax evasion and court is lifting the corporate veil, court did not have to justify कि tax evasion गलत काम होता है, because tax evasion we all know, even from the Chanakya to this modern time, that tax we all have to pay. We are working here in Delhi University, and we are coming under the 30% tax slab. 30% tax slab means if you earn 1 lakh rupees, so 30,000 every month you have to deduct. Okay, but there are certain exemptions that has been applied, so that can be reduced. Otherwise, that much of the exemptions we pay, or everyone has to pay for our benefit of our state, for benefit of our common people. State is managing army, state is giving the medical facility, state is building the roads, state is building the these infrastructures, these public institutions. So where the money comes from? The money comes from the public. And so any person who is avoiding the tax means interfering in the activity of the states. He is actually cheating, not to the state or to the tax authorities, but to the public. Here there is one famous and the classical case from the Bombay High Court. See, this Dinsak Manekji. In India, we have very small community Parsis, and these Parsis people usually very rich also. So this case is also from one of the Parsi. RC Cooper was also Parsi. Tata, Jamshed Tata, all these are. Okay. So in this case, what happened? That there was a person, and Dinsak Manekji Patit. And British government used to give the title just to make unequal society. राय साहब, राय बहादुर, सर, इस तरह के टाइटल वो देते थे. So this person was very influential, and he also has the title. So his name was Sir Dinsa Manekji Patit Bari. This person, has a lot of money, and he, invested that money. If he invest that money in companies, by those companies, he has to get the large dividend. Okay, and in that dividend he has to pay tax. So what he did, he devised a mechanism. उसने एक तरीका सोचा कि भाई डायरेक्टली अगर मैं इन्वेस्ट करता हूँ किसी कंपनी में 1 लाख रुपए, और उस पर मुझे 50,000 रुपए बैक मिलता है, तो 50,000 रुपये मुझे टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. सो व्हाट ही डिड, ही फॉर्म्ड 4 कंपनीज, 4 प्राइवेट कंपनियां बना ली. 4, आप ना, खुद और कोई नौकर, खुद और कोई नौकर, खुद और कोई नौकर. Okay, so with him and some other person of his confidence, he created 4 company. And then through these 4 company, he's not directing investing in other companies, he's not having the share in his own name, but through these 4 company, he purchased, or he has the shareholding in different companies. Okay, so in those companies, the dividend earlier, if he had to apply, अगर वो खुद होता तो उसको डायरेक्ट आता, यहाँ पे इन 4 कंपनीज को आ गया. Okay, and that means the dividend, the income is divided into 4 part. Okay, फाइनली थिंग ये आती है कि इन 4 से फिर तुम्हें कैसे पैसे मिलेंगे, because in these 4 the economic reality is that he is behind that. So by this mechanism, he divided his income into 4 parts. And then these companies, on the pretend of loan, has to give this money to the dinsa कि हम लोन के रूप में दे रहे हैं. सो इन कंपनी के थ्रू भी जो उसको मनी आ रहा है, वहां पे भी वो डिविडेंट नहीं है कि फाइनली 1/4 तो डिविडेंट मिल जाए. वहां पे भी दिस पर्सन इज रनिंग दीज कंपनी इन सच ए मैनर that these company were giving the loan. And who can give the loan? The director of these 4 company. Director वो खुद ही है, खुद को लोन दिलवा रहा है. And so the tax authority come to know this whole mechanism in 1925-1926 का जो ईयर था, in which the whole income of this person was calculated from, as per the income tax official, 11,35,302 rupees. 11 lakh rupees and he was for the super tax. When the tax was imposed, he said that no, how you can impose the tax? This is not my income. This is the income of these 4 companies, and these 4 companies are not in the profit. In these 4 companies, I have shareholder, but these companies are also not giving the dividend to me. The money that I am getting is as a loan. I have to pay back to these companies. दे दो वापिस. That is between me and these company who are doing. Okay, and now by this using of this company as a separate personality, you cannot catch this person, you cannot find out the fault of this person. अब ऐसे तो आपको पता है ये बंदा चीट कर रहा है, but how you have to do that? Because section 9 is applicable, section 9 of the Companies Act, that from the date that is mentioned in the certificate of the incorporation, company will a separate legal personality. Who are the member are irrelevant. That we even discuss in Solomon versus Solomon, Lee versus Lee Air Farming Company. Okay, and so dividend he used to get was credited in the company's account, but the company handed back amount to him as a pretended loan. So he devised this income, this method. Now the arguments from the Sardinsak ji Manek ji is that these are perfectly valid company as per the section 3 of the, अब के हिसाब से आर्गुमेंट बता रहा हूँ, उस समय हो सकता है दूसरा एक्ट और दूसरा सेक्शन हो. So section 3 of the Companies Act and section 9 gives these companies as a separate legal personality. The dividend are getting these company, not me. And these company, from these company I am not getting any dividend, but these company are giving a loan to me. And even as a director in these four company, I myself, allowing this loan, sanctioning this loan. But as for the applicability of the section 9 and Lee versus Lee Air Farming Company, it means these company are giving the loan to me as individual capacity. Okay. And so there is no income. This income that you are saying 11 lakh is not mine income. It's not mine. The tax authorities are arguing that if we lift the corporate veil and see the economic reality, actually the money is coming into the hand of this person, and he is using all these company as a sham, as a fraud. And so on the fifth point, that is the decision of the case, Justice Kemp of the Bombay High Court, who wrote this judgment in your case material. Please go through this judgment, because today I am in the law faculty. I don't have the Bayer Act with the case material with me, so I'm not able to get you mark the paras. So Justice Kemp of the Bombay High Court has observed that the loan that Mr. Sardinsak Manekji is saying has been given from these four companies to him, has no resolution of the company, has been produced by this person to show that it was sanctioned, no rate of interest that which has been charged, no security has been taken by the by these company to this person. Even there is this company, but when the company give the loan, there has to be some security, there has to be some condition, there has to be some rate of tax, kuch to hota. And it was made without any security or voucher has been taken for the advance. And therefore in this case, assessee was receiving under the guise of loan or advancing the profit which were made by the company. And so this company he has formed is only for the tax evasion, and the doctrine of the lifting of corporate veil has been applied. And it was find out that the economic reality behind this legal facade is that this person is getting the income. Okay, so this was the decision of the case. With this, today class is over because it's time 2:49. There is another case also on this tax evasion that surely we will discuss in our next class. CIT versus Sri Meenakshi Mills Limited. This is another case from India, decided by our Supreme Court. Okay, CIT versus Sri Meenakshi Mills Limited. Okay, so guys, have you understood this case in Re Sir Dinsak Manekji Pated Bari? If you have any question, any query, any comment, please, you are welcome.